local, experienced. This is Eye on Northeast Kansas, Kansas News Leader.
Good afternoon and welcome to Eye on Northeast Kansas. Hope you're having a terrific Tuesday. We continue to celebrate Women's History Month today at 4 with a guest who made history in the Kansas National Guard. You will meet her, plus two women who are trailblazers in their own right will tell us what's planned for the 72nd anniversary of the Brown versus Board decision. Hear who will be part of it. And a best-selling author will celebrate his new release with a visit to the Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library. We have the details on that. But first, let's get you the details on the weather. Welcome back, Jeremy Goodwin.
Hi, Melissa. We are looking at temperatures going back to summer-like levels again tomorrow, near 90 degrees again tomorrow and Thursday as well. Right now, we still have a lot of the smoke in the area from controlled burns. This is from the Washburn University Skycam in Emporia, looking over the Lyon County Fairgrounds, and you can see the haze and smoke in every direction in Emporia right now with a lot of these controlled burns still going on. Winds are mainly from the south, which will keep that smoke right over northeast Kansas through the evening. Temperatures right now are still about 10 degrees above normal for this time of the year in the lower to mid 70s, but tomorrow gets even hotter. Nothing as far as rain in the Prairie Bank Casino Resort Live Storm Tracker. Everything you see here, all these spots of green, that is smoke drifting through the area from some of the controlled burns that are ongoing. So tonight 50, that's mild for an overnight low. Tomorrow a high of 90. You probably guessed that is very hot for the mid to late part of March, and Thursday should be just as hot. Your first alert 8-day forecast gets cooler Friday. Details are coming up.
All right, we'll see what's in store. Jeremy, thank you. March is Women's History Month, and we're celebrating here at 4 by catching up with some of the exceptional women in our community. I am honored today to catch up with the first woman to attain the rank of Brigadier General in the Kansas National Guard, Deborah Rose. So glad to see you here with us again.
Thank you,
How's
Melissa.
life treating you?
It's wonderful. I even have restarted to go to with my golf club.
Oh my goodness.
To be able to play a little golf.
I like it. So yeah. What I love about your story is it shows that, you know, one journey, if it leads you to another path, that's okay, because you actually didn't have a very successful first run at college, as the story goes.
That's true. I partied my way out. I was just in over my head. I didn't have any idea. And interestingly, I came back to Topeka and tried to get into the Air Force. And I was 10 pounds overweight.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You've always been in great shape, so that's surprising to hear. So you ended up marrying an airman, though.
I did. He was active duty.
And you were a stay-at-home mom.
Yes, I was.
What led you back to education?
There had been an airplane that had two people in it, and the whole, it was something that was crashed and they died. The two people died. The one person happened to be from our town of Overbrook, and all of a sudden it was kind of like a light that came on and said, you need to do something, because if something happens to your husband, you need to be able to take care of the children. So we had two children at that point, and I decided that I was going back to school, and I became a nurse.
You became a nurse?
At Washburn University.
Go Bods, right?
Go Bods.
You became a nurse, but you also then enlisted in the Kansas National Guard. What was it about that service that was important to you?
I did. I was at the base. I was in the medical group, and one drill weekend, I got a call from whoever was in charge of the group, that they wanted to talk to me. And so the wing commander had said they needed somebody to replace another person. And so they came to me to ask if I would like to do that. And I thought that was great. You know, why not? Why not take advantage of? And so, being a nurse, there was things that I couldn't do, but with this, I could go to other places within the base, and that's exactly what I did.
What was your approach to leadership?
My approach to leadership, one of the things is I wanted my folks to know that I had was in charge and that I wanted them taken care of. And so it was great. I never, only if there was something going bad would I tell you to come to my office, because I did walking around. I walked around, I got to know people, I got to know their families, and so then the next time I came around, I could ask them, how's your daughter doing, and how's your son doing? And so I thought, for me, it was very personal, because I felt like we needed to all be together.
So you became the first woman to attain the rank of Brigadier General. As you were being promoted, did you ever realize that you were the first woman in those shoes?
Actually, what happened is one day I was at the base and I started to look around, and all I saw were any females that were high-ranking were all lieutenant colonels. And so my question became, why haven't there been any colonels? How come no women have ever been a colonel here? Well, I think it's just because nobody thought about it. And so I wanted to be, I wanted to do this for us, not for me, but for us. And, you know, it was just an odd thing to happen. But I had leaders that were very helpful, very much wanted me to be successful. So I think that's the other piece, is what kind of leadership do you have to make sure that if people want to go higher, that they get higher. But you have to do education, there's a lot of things that you have to do to get ready to be an officer. And then becoming a Brigadier General was just, it's just amazing. We have a grandson that just came through basic training in San Antonio. And I can tell you, I was in my uniform, and I cannot even realize how many people I saluted while I was there, because everybody had to salute me and I had to salute them.
Oh, what would be your message, final thoughts here in a few seconds, to any woman out there who wants to set their sights higher?
You've got to be able to plan. You've got to be able to get your education. You have to know what you're doing, and you have to be one of those people that if the wing commander wants to get a group of people together, you be the first one that raises your hand and said, take me, you know, I can help you out. Because if I hear too many people say, oh, you don't ever want to volunteer for anything. No, that's the wrong thinking.
You do.
You've got to be in charge.
You got to put in the work,
yeah.
And no one's going to hand you anything.
And I am so proud to say that there are a lot of female colonels out at the 190th.
You paved the way.
Well, it's for us.
General Rose, thank you. That's a great
You're welcome.
sentiment. I appreciate it. Thank you. We're going to look ahead to the 72nd anniversary of Brown v. Board next.
This is Eye on Northeast Kansas.
Tickets went on sale today for a special event commemorating the 72nd anniversary of the Brown versus Board of Education decision. It's coming up this May. Glenda Washington and Dr. Burl New are with the Brown v. Board Anniversary Coalition. They're here to tell us why you want to be sure you get your seat. The Brown Foundation is a partner in this. Glenda, first of all, the decision is always so very important. Yes. Why this year, with the 250th anniversary of our nation, is it even more important to reflect on this?
Well, the environment, we've been talking about that, the environment is dictating that we bring the level of importance to the community, and it's a different world for us, and so we are bringing somebody to speak about the world and what we're going through as a nation, and he's going to talk a little bit about, you know,
Is Ben Crump is his name, correct?
Ben
He's
Crump.
civil rights attorney.
Yes.
What is going to be his message, Pearl?
Well, what we're hoping is that he'll be consistent with what he's been spreading across the United States as he's been promoting his new book. That individual thought is important right now.
Yeah.
That people have to be accountable for what they endorse and the actions that they carry out themselves. So we're hoping it'll be something inspiring, that people will get a message of what I need to do as a individual human to make our world a better place to live.
You also have a poet, Jay Ivey, that's going to be part of
Jay
this.
Ivey.
What is he all about?
Jay Ivey is going to be he's a Grammy award-winning poet, and he's going to be, he goes around and he speaks, and he's not just poet, he's going to be a rapper, and you know, he has a deep message. And so I've only heard him once, and that was on a recording, so I can't be an expert on Jay Ivey.
Well, but it made you an impression,
Yeah.
made an impression to really bring something special to the evening. I think about as we approach July 4th and it being the 250th birthday of America, and where Brown v. Board fits in this entire story of our nation.
Yes.
Dr. New, where do you see it continuing to have that relevance today?
Well, I know Cheryl Brown Henderson often says that it's not the story of one child or 5, 6 children. It's the story of America's children. And even given how education is viewed in our state and in our nation currently, it's important for people to know we're making a deep investment in the lives of those who are going to end up being the leaders of our world. So we can't leave some out and serve others, but we have to always know that every single child deserves a free and appropriate public education.
And you know what else I think really strikes me, especially as we had General Rose here and we think about March being Women's History Month? If you look at the 13 plaintiffs in Brown v. Board, 12 of them were women.
Yes.
Women led the way here.
Women led
What does
the
that
way.
say about the role and the impact women can have in society, Glenda?
That we are bad.
For good.
The good, bad, yes.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you look around at leadership, we always sit back and take the second place. That's because we're observing the situation, and then we think about, you know, what is our role in making sure that change happens. And so women are serving as catalysts even now, way back when, to make sure that change happens and that it makes a positive impact on our community. So we see a lot of that happening.
Absolutely. Well, we want to make sure that you get your tickets so that you can join the Brown v. Board's 72nd anniversary celebration Sunday, May 17th. Doors open at 5:30 is the program. Again, it's going to be at Townsite Ballroom downtown. Tickets are just $60. Go to brownvboardanniversary.org. That's where you can get them and get your seat at the table.
Yes.
Glenda, Burl, thank you both so
Thank
very
you.
much.
Oh,
We're going to get you up to date on that. First Alert forecast next.
A pretty nice weekend across the area with temperatures back in the low 70s on Sunday. Melissa.
Okay, up and down we go. A veteran turned author is coming to Topeka. Find out how to get on the guest list next.
This is Eye on Northeast Kansas.
A best-selling author is coming to the Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library right as his newest novel is released. Katie Moss is here with the details. I feel like this is almost like a book release party for him.
I know, right?
Who is the author?
His name is Brad Taylor. He is retired military. He was on Delta Force and he served in the Middle East wars. So
he's a veteran. How does he
Yes.
draw on those experiences in the characters he brings to life?
Well, I saw an interview that he did where he shared that a lot of the things in the books that he writes, because this is his 20th book in his Pike Logan series. So,
oh my goodness.
So he's written several novels, and they're all like very suspenseful and they pull you in and keep you turning those pages. But he shared that that all of his novels, the things that happen in them are things that really would happen, like in real life, as, you know, someone who is covertly, you know, supporting
operations
yes,
somewhere.
yeah. but maybe just not at the same intensity or the same pace. So yeah, I think that, you know, we got to keep turning those pages so that the intensity is high, but he knows his stuff for sure. He knows his stuff.
And what about the timing on this one, on this appearance in Topeka?
I'm so excited about this. So his new book is called Shadow Strike, and like I said, it's the 20th book in the series, and it comes out the day before our event. So like I haven't even gotten to read it yet. So we're all very excited to host him and have him you know, promote his new book at our library. So.
What is the cool thing about having authors come in person and talk about their work?
I feel like we're so lucky that we get to host. We usually get to host 2 great authors a year, like national best-selling authors, plus a lot of local authors too. But it's so interesting to be able to hear their perspective and really get a feel for their stories and what inspires them and how they sort of develop their stories and their process. And I think you always you can watch YouTube videos or whatever, other interviews with authors, but being in the same room with them and having the opportunity to ask a question at the end of the presentation and just really connect, I think is a great, unique opportunity that you don't get every day.
No, the national best-selling authors, that's made possible by Friends of the Library, correct? How do people sign on to that, and how do we support Friends of the Library?
Okay, so our Friends of the Library are amazing. They support us in so many ways, but yeah, they do support our big national author events, and you can support the Friends on our website. You can sign up for a Friends membership, and it's just $25 a year. And if you sign up, you get first dibs on tickets to our big author events like these. You get primo seating right up in front, and we have usually, not always, but a lot of times we'll have a pre-event for the Friends, so so you can have an opportunity to meet our visiting authors at those events and have your book signed before.
Now, to clarify, are we going to be doing that for Brad Taylor?
Yes, we are. We are.
So get a Friends membership now, so you can do it. You do want people to register, correct?
Yes, and you can register online on our website.
tscpl.org.
Yep.
Okay.
We still have spots open, so so check it out.
Yep, Brad Taylor's going to be there on April 22nd in Marvin Auditorium at the Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library. As Katie said, go ahead and register today because they do tend to fill up, and so that's why we have you on now, even though the event is still 3 weeks away. Katie, appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Glad you could be along with us today as well. Don't go anywhere. We have First Alert at 4:30, along with that in-depth look at your forecast and what's driving those weather topics next in about 2 minutes.
Get the latest news, weather, and sports at WIBW.com. Thank you for watching 13 News, winner of the National Association of Broadcasters Leadership Foundation Celebration of Service to America Award.
It is a story of money, power, and abuse that's captured headlines for more than a decade. Billionaire Jeffrey Epstein was indicted on federal charges of sex trafficking minors. He died by suicide prior to that trial. Documents released since then detail other allegations of human trafficking and sexual abuse. But behind all those stories are real people, the survivors. One of them, Lisa Phillips, is sharing her story in Topeka later this evening, but she is joining us in the studio now before that to visit a little bit about what your message is in being here. Thanks, Lisa. I appreciate it. How old were you when all of this took place?
Well, I was in my early 20s when I first met Jeffrey Epstein.
And was this a long-term period of time that this all happened, or a short-term?
Well, I met him on the island. I was a fashion model, just doing a photo shoot on the island, and he sent a boat, and we went over there for the day, and didn't expect to be assaulted later on that evening.
It was that quick? It just happened that quick?
Well, there was a few hours of grooming and getting to know you and making you feel safe and heard and seen and asking about your ambitions and that kind of thing. But yeah, there was a massage later on that evening.
I think it can be difficult for people to understand that. You mentioned making you feel safe. How long did it take before you realized this was not a safe situation and this was not acceptable behavior that was happening?
Well, as I've learned, people can groom you for hours, days, months, years. But because I was on the island, I mean, I don't think he had that much time, but he definitely spent a few hours with me to get to know me, ask me a lot of questions about my family, see how protected I was. know my ambitions and my goals and things like that.
Thanks, Jeremy. A Kansas Special Olympics athlete, advocate, and staff member has an update for us today. Josh Alters was here a few weeks back. He is now here to make a big announcement. And a few weeks back, you were just back from a national congress, is that correct?
Correct.
And what did you do at the national congress?
So we went to the Congress in Grand Rapids, Michigan, to talk about issues that affect Special Olympic athletes in the United States, and picked 4 topics, Melissa. They are understanding or athlete-led leadership, how to figure out how to get more healthy athlete involvement outside of our competitions. And then, of course, the media, which I know we don't have that issue here with a lot of programs have that issue. And then just, you know, learning a lot about the other topics that were discussed and keeping up with the athletes that want to know what's going on with programs.
Absolutely. Now, people may not realize that Special Olympics isn't just in Kansas or in the United States. It's a worldwide program. So at this national congress, what happened?
So when we went to the Congress, we voted on the topics and discussed them quite a bit and got it down. So the 4 that were picked that I just spoke about will go to the Global Congress next year in October.
But who's going to go to the Global
And
Congress?
I am actually so honored today to tell everybody. I know I told everyone last time I was here I was a finalist, but this time I am actually one of the 10 participants that will be going to the Global Congress next year. So there are 2 other American athletes that are going too. So
you're one of 3 selected to go. We got a full house in the studio today, so I think that's worth a round of applause from everybody out there. We are so happy for you, Josh. When is the Global Congress?
It'll be in middle of October of 2027.
The data center discussion heated up at this week's Shawnee County Commission meeting with a zoning rules change on the agenda. Commissioner Kevin Cook is here to kind of clarify what all happened. We're going to tell you a little bit about some information for those of you cleaning up from storms in a little bit, but we want to start with this data center talk that happened. A lot of things have been going out. In fact, the county attorney or county counselor had a news conference about it to clear up some misinformation. What exactly did you all do yesterday when it came to data centers?
So as we look at other communities around Kansas, and let's just back up, the Kansas legislature last session passed a bill that gave significant tax credits to individuals or companies that would establish data centers in Kansas. Since then, we've seen a number of data centers that have become discussed or pop up around the state of Kansas. When we looked at our own code and regulations, it came to our realization that we really don't have any regulations as to how to regulate a data center or battery storage. So the process yesterday was, how are we going to regulate, or how are we going to handle if we received an application for a data center or battery storage?
So if you hadn't done that, anyone who came in, looked at an area that was zoned industrial, you basically would not have had any choice but to let them build.
That we still would have had the final discussion maybe come before the county, but you're absolutely right. We would not have had any regulations as to how they would build that data center. So this is actually putting into place rules and regulations on what we want to see or require of a battery center or data storage.
Why not, though? So what it means is if someone wants to build one now, it's a conditional use permit. They have to go through special, basically, hearings in order to get their project approved. Why not do a whole moratorium, though? That's the objection from a lot of folks. They're like, let's just put the brakes on it entirely until we do some more study. You
know, I think there was a lot of good discussion yesterday with the commissioners about a moratorium and why not to do a moratorium.
Kansas.
We love Fridays around here because we get our little dose of fur therapy. So today's dose comes from a very special little girl. Emmy, who do we have?
Her name is Luna, and she's about 8 years old.
She wants to explore, and I've told her she can explore over in my lap because she's been all over the place. But yeah, she's 8 years old, and you might notice that Luna's got a little something going on over here. What happened?
She is a tripod as of a couple of weeks ago. When she came into us, she had an old injury in her back leg, and she couldn't bend that leg anymore. So it was really inhibiting her. She would still move around with it, but our veterinary team, determined she'd be able to be more mobile and move a little easier if they just amputated the leg that no longer worked at all. And she's healing from that. Been a couple weeks, definitely getting around. It helps that she's very light, very lightweight, so not a lot to carry on 3 legs.
A little petite girl. Thank you.
He found my script.
It's on Jeremy's script. Today marks 60 years since a defining moment in Topeka's history and arguably the most famous phrase ever spoken on WIBW-TV.
If you live in the north part or on the northern edge, for God's sake, take cover.
As an F5 tornado barreled into the city, WIBW broadcaster Bill Kurtis gave the warning that is burned into the memories of those who lived through it. The 1966 tornado tore a path more than 20 miles long of destruction across the city. In all, 17 deaths are attributed to that storm. Tonight, Bill Kurtis himself will share his memories of the night, but first he is here in the studio with us. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you taking time to come and visit with all of us here, because it is a pivotal moment in our history here as a station and truly defining what we can do as broadcasters.
I was 26 then.
26.
26, right out of law school and filling in for, and I had a part-time job here. I was a weatherman for a while, and I'm now 86. And I've come back a number of times, and every time I do, why, Topeka has changed. It looks beautiful. But that June 8th date, of course, resonates with me and with all those who were there and have passed that word on to their families.
Of course, for you, it was, as your book is titled, Whirlwind, it really spun you into a long, long career. You didn't think you'd be a lifelong broadcaster, did you?
I had accepted a job with a trial firm in Wichita. I was going to be a lawyer. You go to 3 years of law school, you know, you
don't want to waste it.
Maybe, yeah, maybe I should practice. And so I was studying and left a law review class and came out, was standing in front of the camera, and nobody thought this was the big one until Ed Rutherford, our cameraman, called in and said, "It's big. We have a tornado on the ground. It's headed for the city." We didn't even go then because we wanted to confirm it. And then he said, well, it's wiped out Huntington apartment complex.
Right there on the other side, the east side of Burnett's Mill.
So that meant everybody, and the studio filled with everybody who was working. One, they wanted to know, should they go home? Two, and then they realized, we better get to work. That's our job.
Yes.
And they did a great job.
And it went all the way through the city. Was it just that night, Bill, or what were the next several days like around here?
Well, it took us a while to get into the terrible areas. Judge Newton Vickers, circuit court judge at the time, came walking into the studio a couple hours afterwards, and he said, Washburn's gone. Just like this, kind of a shocking awareness that this is really bad, so that everything leading up to Washburn must be gone too. And then how far on the ground did it stay? So you can't get through with telephones. We didn't have a mini cam, a remote that can go out and give us pictures. We didn't see much of the damage until in the dark. We'd get some lights on it. Didn't see it from up here. A few people saw it coming through who left the building and went out. But you're right, it slowly moves. I felt like sort of like Ronald Reagan doing a baseball game, you know, with a teletype, it's a single in the right field. And people, would come and then give you a word, how bad and where it is.
And it is amazing because part of the story too is that, lest we forget, Manhattan and the K-State campus had quite a bit of damage from a tornado that hit there earlier in the day. But we didn't have like these cell phones where you instantly send a photo and you know everything that happened there. We were just still gathering the information from that location.
We didn't know the severity of Manhattan. It was a roof that blew off a garage. We now do.
Yeah.
And people have told me, oh, did you know, we had it there? Well, I wish we had known more about it. You have all the magic of radar and satellites, but we didn't have any of that.
Why? You're going to be part of an event tonight. I get to ask you questions. My picture's this small and yours is this big on the thing. I'm just a small part of it. We're going to have this public Q&A later this evening out at Washburn University in the Memorial Ballroom. Free event, benefits the Kansas Book Festival, which is why we have their logo behind there. Why is it important to you to come back and hear the stories and share your own story?
It's a piece of history for me and for the city. This is not a myth. This is a reality. For the broadcasters, it means, as it was for me, it laid out my life for 60 years. This is my life. And I took journalism very, very seriously because I saw that lives could be saved. And I hope to communicate that to other broadcasters.